Yes, my people, what's going on now? In today's video, I'm going to be walking you guys through how we generated nearly 1.2 million in cash collected for one of our clients in just 5 months. Right now, I'm just inside the live Stripe dashboard. You guys can see it's all live, it's all real. We've got the date range going from the 1st of October 2025 all the way up to the 31st of March 2026. Now, yesterday was a pretty good day. We cash collected 28k. Now I'm just going to move into my Miro board here and walk you guys through how we took this client from doing 40k months to generating nearly 1.2 million in cash collected in just 5 months. Now here's myself and the client here. I'm going to be walking you guys through the sort of numbers that they were doing prior to us coming in, revamping the offer and scaling it. So back in July 2025, they cash collected 43k. August, they did 41k. September, we stepped in and we took them from 40k months to 116k in 30 days. October, so the month after that, we then took them from 116k to 216k. And then that led us to do the multiple 6-figure months over that 5-month period. Now, here's just some screenshots from inside of Slack, some of the piffs that have been coming through. So it's a 12k offer, and I'm walking you guys through that now. So I won't bore you with, all of the intricate details, but essentially it's a JV partnership offer. And what that basically means is that we're not just selling a program or a course. It's a case where we're looking for partners to basically come in, get educated, find off market land plots around the UK and go 50-50 with the client and her team on the back end. Now, the niche is within property. The target audience is investors, developers, business professionals, anybody who's pretty much got 12k to spend, then this offer is going to be for you, right? So let me dive into the strategies that we used and how the hell we even took this client from doing even 40k a month to 116k within 30 days. So the first strategy that we used was a VSL call funnel. Now, prior to working with us, they've used a VSL call funnel to scale in the past. And it's a case where we basically just came in and said, look, like if that worked before, let's just turn that back on. Let's get some setters in, let's get some closers in, and basically just turn this machine back on. So we're driving cold traffic to the VSL. We had a bit of warm retargeting in there as well. Now, the benefit of doing a VSL call funnel with an offer like this is that you get a lot of data and feedback from generating a ton of volume of leads and calls. And this allows you to build on top of that and then make the tweaks that you need to make with the data that you've got. So it's a really good way to get a lot of data quite quickly. Now, originally they were directing people to book a discovery call. We came in, changed that to an application call. Reason being, you're dealing with wealthy prospects here. We don't want brokies to be thinking that they can just jump on a call with your sales team, ask a bunch of questions and basically just go there to gather information. That's not what we want. When you change the frame from discovery to application call, people start to think of it differently. They start to think that, oh, I'm applying to work with these guys. I'm applying for something. So it's a case where it turns away the brokies, and the people that are a little bit more serious, they think, okay, yeah, this is something that I would like to apply for. This is something that I would like to know a little bit more information about. It seems quite interesting. Let me take that next step. We had one phone setter in, dialing all the opt-ins as you do. The DM setter was converting new IG followers into booked calls. The sales process was originally a 1-call close, but then we soon figured out that we probably should switch it to a 2-call, because when you're doing a VSL call funnel with an offer like this, that's quite unique. It's new. It's not like Airbnb and buy to let where there's a lot of information on that. People are aware of these strategies already. It's a case where they need a lot of education before they take that next step. So doing like a 1-call close, having like an hour slot, trying to educate them, nurture them, make them understand the model, it's going to be quite difficult, right? And the problem with a VSL call funnel as well is that a lot of people just go through, don't even watch the VSL, book a call, and then they turn up to the call like with such low intent. They're just like, well, I don't know what you do. That's why I booked a call. And then your sales reps are just pulling teeth. They get pissed off. So we switched it to a 2-call close process. Like I said, the intent is quite low with a VSL call funnel, just because people can easily opt in. They don't even really need to watch the video. They just book a call and speak with your team. Now you can add in like an application where you disqualify people and whatnot, but then you're also turning away people who potentially could be a really good fit, i.e. they're investors, developers, they have a lot of money. When you're selling to rich people, you don't want to prolong that process. You want to make it very seamless and easy for them to take that next step. And by adding like an application, you're building friction for them to take that next step and speak with your team. So to summarize, the VSL call funnel gave us the data that we needed fast. And that's what helped us to scale from 40 to 116k, right? Is that it gave us the volume, it gave us the data, and it gave us the feedback that we needed to know what the next step should be to really scale this offer past 100k plus per month. Now, here is the funnel, just a very, very standard VSL funnel, opt-in page, VSL page. We also had like a redirect to the school community if they didn't want to book a call right away. And then we have the thank you page here as well. Now, strategy 2, we did 3-day challenges. Now, 3-day challenges, when you get them right, they can absolutely crush for your offer. So the breakdown is this. We integrated cold and warm traffic. Total ad spend for this example was just under 12K. Day 1 was a 37% show rate. Day 2 was a 25% show rate. Day 3 was a 20% show rate. And we booked 69 highly qualified calls. And the reason why I've highlighted that is because you're probably thinking, like, if you're spending like 12K and you've got 37% show rate and you're doing the maths right now, you're probably thinking there should be a lot more booked calls, right? And yes, there bloody was. But the thing is that when you do these challenges, there's going to be a load of people that are going to be all hyped up and gassed because they've sat there for 3 days and they feel like this is going to be something that can get them out of the ghetto, or it's going to be a get rich quick scheme. So we want to filter out the brokies and we want super qualified leads that, number one, have the intent, and number two, they're financially qualified, because it's a 12K offer and you're speaking to people from the UK here. So like, yeah, when it comes to like a UK market, there's a lot of people that want to do it, but they're not actually qualified to do it. So we want to filter out those people right away. We had a phone setter dial in all the attendees that didn't book so that we can book more calls, and also filter out the people that are serious and not serious and why they didn't book in the first place. Maybe there wasn't space on the calendar, who knows? We want to make sure that we can get those people onto the closers' calendars. Now, the thing is with challenges, the intent is way higher than your traditional VSL call funnel. And the reason for that is because they're sitting there for 3 days getting educated on your offer and your mechanism. So the intent is going to be way higher because they understand the offer a lot better than a 15-20 minute VSL video that they probably didn't even watch in the first place. Now, the funnel breakdown is this. It's a free challenge, by the way, so we're not charging for this. Registration page, they register for the challenge, they go to a confirmation page, and then they get redirected to a school community, which has like a bunch of free resources and value in there to educate them before the challenge. Then we also have the stats here inside of Webinar Jam, just so that you guys can see it's all real. We have day 1, which is March the 2nd. I can barely even see that. 395 live attendees, 37% show rate. Then we have day 2, where we have 269 live attendees, 25% show rate. Then we have day 3, which was Wednesday, the 4th of March, 217 live attendees at a 20% show rate. Now here's just the 3-day stats combined into one. So you can see 881 live attendees, 78 watched the replay. Then we have the booked calls inside of Calendly. So you've got 69 booked calls there. You can see it here from the screenshot. Now, I'm not going to lie to you guys. Challenges are goated. Like, when you get these right, they can absolutely crush for your offer. And I'm not saying that lightly. Like, challenges are like one of those things that you need to be running them at least twice a year. Even if it's not like your core system that you're using to scale your offer, you definitely need to be running them up. So moving on to strategy 3, which is in-person live events. So the breakdown for this is cold and warm traffic. It's a 1-day in-person event. Now we charge for this is £47 per ticket. We drive them to book a call on the day of our sales team instead of driving them to the back and saying, you know what, it's 3K today, go to the back, get your 50% off. We don't do that. We drive them to book a call with our sales team, so it sounds a little bit more premium. It's a case where like we're not begging to work with them. Like I said, it's a JV partnership. So we want to hold the authority and we want to hold the frame that we're looking to choose JV partners. We're not looking to onboard everybody. So it's all to do with the frame with this offer. It's all to do with the framing. Then we have the phone setter dialing all the attendees, again, similar to the 3-day challenges, booking those people in. And again, it's very, very high intent like the challenges, because if you think of it, people are blocking out their day to spend it with you for around 6 to 7 hours, hear what you got to say, sit there, take notes. Like, these people are serious. If they're paying £47 and they're coming down in person, like I said, blocking out their day to spend it with you, like, these guys are going to be the warmest leads you're ever going to get in your life. So in-person events is another goated strategy that you need to be using when it comes to strategy stacking and scaling your offers to multiple 6 figures a month. Now, the only problem that I would say when it comes to in-person live events is the volume aspect. So let's just say that you're hosting an event or like a 1-day event in London, you're losing all of the people that are up north, because they're not going to come down for a 1-day event and pay £47 and just come down for one night and then go the next day. Like, they're not going to do that. If you're doing like a 3 to 5-day event, then maybe, yeah, that makes more sense, right? Because then they can come down to London for like 3-5 days, spend a day and, you know, travel around, whatever, and do their thing. So that's the only thing that you need to consider when it comes to live events, is that like the volume's quite limited, because with the virtual stuff, it doesn't matter where you are, you can tune in. So that's the benefit of doing like virtual events. Now the funnel process for this, very simple stuff again, registration page, we're redirecting them to a checkout page because again, they're buying a ticket for £47 and then they get redirected to the school community again. Now down here are just some screenshots and just some pictures of some of the events that we've done. So this is in Nottingham, this is in Birmingham here, which was our biggest live event that we actually hosted, which had 160 people. Now, I've been to multiple events, right? And I'll tell you what, when you actually see 160 people in the room, it blows your mind, because when you're sitting here doing like virtual stuff, let's just say it's a webinar, and I can see in the top corner that there's 200 people there in the live room. I don't really understand how many people are actually there because I can't see them, right? But when you're actually at a live event and you can see how many people in the room, you're like, wow, like that is a lot of people. So yeah, that was a pretty sick event. That was in Birmingham. Birmingham's actually a really good location to do live events. One, because it's in the middle of the UK sort of. So people from up north, it's probably like an hour and a half from them. And then people down south, it's like an hour and 45 minutes for us to get up there as well. So like, it's sort of like the sweet spot, but Birmingham's pretty good. Now, let me walk you guys through where the best months come from and why we were able to get the results that we got by doing the virtuals and in-person events. Now, we lean more towards like webinars and challenges, and the reason for that is because these people have way higher intent than people that are just coming through from like a VSL funnel, right? So let me dive into like the pros and cons of, you know, both of these strategies to begin with. So the VSL call funnel, you're attracting people that don't really have any intent or any buy-in on what it is that you do. Unless they sit there and watch that VSL video, which I would say 75%, 80% of the people don't actually sit there and watch it until the end. They're going to jump on a call uneducated. Like I said, and I've said it multiple times, the intent is going to be so low and they need a lot of education before they get bought in on what it is that you're selling. It's expensive to run. It's easily $100 to $350 cost per book call. And if these people don't show, that's money that you're losing. You're losing money if these people don't show up to the call, right? Next, you need to have strong closes. This is something that gets so overlooked. Like a lot of people run up the VSL call funnel and then they wonder why the closers are not closing and hitting the KPI that they want them to hit. And the reason for that is because these people are coming in stone cold, basically. They're literally coming in from like an ad, skipping the video, booking a call, right? Like I said, 75 to 80% of the time, that's exactly what's happening. So these people have no education, no nothing. They've literally just seen an ad, jumped onto the closers' calendars. If they're speaking to an amateur closer or an average closer, they're not going to be able to close them at 20, 25% close rate. It's not happening, right? So you need to have strong closers if you want to run up this funnel. You also need to have strong setters because, again, if people are coming through and they're not really watching the VSL video, you need to make sure that these setters are triaging them properly and qualifying them and nurturing them before they put them onto the closers' calendars. Now, this is one of the biggest things that a lot of people steer away from, especially moving forwards in 2026, is actually having a huge sales team. Those days are gone. People don't want to be managing 10, 15 sales reps and having all that headache because there's so many things that go into running like a VSL call funnel. In my opinion, it's one of the hardest bloody funnels and strategies to run up when it comes to selling info. It's so difficult to manage and scale to like $1 million a month because like the intricacies inside that funnel process, everything just needs to be on point. Like there's so many things that you're looking at consistently. You're literally just playing the game on hard mode, in my opinion. Webinars and challenges. Let me talk to you guys about this. So the difference is, like I said, the intent is way higher. So these leads are going to be super warm because they've been educated for an hour to 3 hours or even 3 days, right? You can sell one to many. So that means that you can get 200, 300, 400 people in a room all at once and sell them within 1 to 2 hours per week. Imagine having 100 to 200, 300 people all in the room, all at one time, being educated and passed on to your sales team. You can close anywhere from at least 30 to 60%. I'll put 40% there because I'm just being a bit, you know what I mean? I just want to make it a little bit juicy. But I would say 30 to 60% is really good, right? That's definitely achievable with webinars and challenges. You don't need a big team. So again, to the VSL call funnel, you need a huge sales team to keep this bloody beast going. You don't need that with webinars and challenges. You can have, let's say, 3 closers, and because they're closing at a higher rate, you don't need plenty of closers. You just need good closers. Now, it's easier to create real urgency. When you're doing webinars and challenges, you can basically close off the doors and be like, look, we're only taking on these people, or we're closing the doors at the end of the week and blah, 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 blah. You can do like a cohort, right? Because it's live, it's real. You can add the urgency there. Whereas when they come through from a VSL, it's like, you know, how many people are booking calls? I know that I'm not the only person that's booked a call today. There's plenty of other people. So there's no real urgency there to be like, okay, cool. Like, you know, you're on this call today. You haven't even watched the VSL. You're uneducated. Do you know what I mean? There's just so many things that go into it. Now, even though I said that if you have strong closers, you can close at 30 to 60%, you can get average closers that close at around 25 to 30% easily. Easily, because they've been educated. The heavy lifting's been done from the front end. So if you do get strong closers in, you will be able to close way above 30%. So that's why I say it's like, if you get strong closers and you've got a strong front end system that does all the heavy lifting, does all the education before they get to the call, it's going to be way easier for these strong closers to come in and close at 40 to 60%. Now, the returns on these webinars and challenges, you can see some ridiculous returns, 3 to 10x plus, easily. And the thing is, when you're running these webinars and challenges, you can collect cash within 24 to 72 hours. Once the webinar's done or the challenge is done, like they get booked onto your sales team's calendars and they can literally close them within 24 hours. Like, where do you know that you can literally just basically get somebody to learn about your offer and in 24 hours, they're buying, right? And again, you can do that with a VSL, but it's just a lot harder. You're literally just pulling teeth. The next funnel breakdown. So IG profile funnel. Now, I actually love this strategy. I think it's pretty goated, to be fair. And we do use it for some of our offers where we strategy stack, and we'll have the webinars and challenges as the main core vehicle that we use. But then we also use like IG follower ads where we drive traffic to the offer owner's page or their Instagram, and we basically just get a lot more traffic in there. Even if we're just getting more eyeballs on their page when we do the retargeting ads, it works really, really well. Now, the only problem with this strategy is that the sales cycle can be quite long and it is quite unpredictable. And the reason why I say that is because the way you got to think of it is that it takes time for people to respond. Sometimes they might respond in 2 days, 3 days. They might respond on the day or whatever it is. Your set is going back and forth with them, right? Before they actually get them onto a call, and they've got to qualify them, send them the VSL, make sure that they've done all that before they get passed on to the closers. So the sales cycle can be a little bit longer. Again, there's no real attribution. It's not really scalable in my opinion. The reason why I say that is because Instagram's a social media app. It's not a CRM. You can use like other things like Ellipsend. You can use Go High Level, Meta Business Suite as well. You can even use like ManyChat and stuff, but like when you're getting followers come in, you can't really reach out to those unless you're inside the actual DMs. And then if you're inside the DMs, you don't have a real CRM. So then it gets messy. So that's where I say that it's not really scalable, because when you start spending more, you're getting so much flipping volume, you're generating followers for like $1 to $3, right? So when you're spending like $300-400 a day and you're generating like 200 to 300 followers per day, like the volume's just too much to handle. You need to also have a really, really good organic presence. And what I mean by that is that you need to have your organic dialed, because a lot of people run up this strategy. They'll drive traffic to the Instagram profile and then they go, oh, it's not really converting in the way that it should be, or it's not really working for me. And the reason for that is because your profile's not optimized, or your Instagram's not optimized to convert and educate and nurture people. So you really need to have that side of things dialed in. It's not like where you have like webinars and challenges, you can run ads. You don't really need to have like a massive like presence on socials, and you can still convert at a high rate. So with that sort of strategy, you do need to have like an organic presence. You do need to have your content dialed in. Now, the lead quality is not really consistent either. The barrier to entry is so low because anybody can follow you. People will follow you for different reasons. We've had it in the past where people follow them just because they like the video, right? Or they relate to it. Or they just followed you because they wanted to follow you, and there's nothing to disqualify these people. So when it comes to the IG profile funnel, that's the only things that I'll probably say are like the downsides to it. But other than that, I think it's a pretty goated strategy for sure. Now, low ticket to high ticket. Now, this one here is extremely difficult to actually pull off. And the reason for that is because the front end offer needs to be world class. When I mean world class, I mean exceptional, like top level, right? You need to also have an exceptional marketer. You can't just have like a great offer and then have an average media buyer to come in and run your ads. Like, it's just not going to work. You also need to have really, really good setters, because when you're getting customers come through, there's a lot of people that will just come in for the low ticket offer. They don't actually want to ascend to the high ticket offer. They don't even know that that exists yet. So you need to have a good setter who's going to be on top of it, qualify these people, triage them, and filter out the people that just want to get the low ticket offer and the people that are going to be a right fit for what you do for the high ticket, and push them onto your closers. Now, the sales cycle can be quite long, because the way you got to think of it is that people are buying a low ticket product to begin with, and they may just jump on the call with a setter and be like, oh yeah, it is something that I could probably be interested in, but at the same time, you know, I haven't even gone through the course material. I haven't even gone through the training that I bought, the low ticket offer, right? Like, this is just long. Like, why are you waiting for someone to go through all of that before they then speak with your team about the high ticket offer? There's obviously things that you can have in place and whatnot, but overall, like, this system, like, it works really, really well, but it's just very, very hard to pull off. Now, last but not least, it's heavily reliant on volume. Because you're not looking to generate leads, you're looking to generate customers. It's like you need to spend a lot to generate enough customers to then also have enough leads. So it's basically a volume game here, where you're just trying to get as many customers through the door so that you have enough people to then triage and then upsell to your high ticket. So overall, I'd say like low ticket to high ticket, again, like all of these strategies work. It's just a case of which one do you want to choose and which one do you just want to double down on to scale your offer. I would say that it's very, very good, but it's also for people that are quite advanced when it comes to marketing and also offer packaging as well. You need to know exactly what you're doing. But yeah, I would say like it is really hard to pull off, but it works. Now, let me walk you guys through why we use webinars and challenges and some of the revenue calculations that you can expect from using both of these strategies, right? So let's just say for this example that we're spending £15,000 on ad spend or $15,000, wherever you are, just change it to your currency. Average cost per registrant is $10 to $20. Your show rate is 25 to 30% on cold traffic. Retention rate is 75 to 80%. Booking rate is 20 to 30% plus. Your close rate is 30%. And let's just say the average order value for this example is $5,000. So here is basically just like a little calculation chart that I've got here, which I'm going to walk you guys through. So ad spend for this example, 15K, cost per registrant is $15, show rate 30%, retention 75%, booking rate is 25%, close rate is 30%, average order value is 5K. Now let's just say that the profit that you would make off that, based on these metrics, would be 70K. So you spend 15K to make 70K in profit. So that's after deducting the ad spend. Now, when it comes to like these webinars and challenge funnels that you're running, like you can improve these metrics. This isn't set in stone, right? Because if you get a cheaper cost per registrant, if you can increase your show rate, if you can increase your retention rate, if you can increase your booking rate and close rate, then all of this goes up. It doesn't stay there. So it's a system that you can continuously optimize. And of course you can optimize all strategies and funnels, but with this, it's very, very simple to understand. Now, here's just a few screenshots of some of the ad campaigns that we've ran for some of our clients. So here's one that we've been running over the past month or so, where we do bi-weekly live webinars. So we've spent so far £3,893. We've generated 463 registrants at a cost per lead or cost per registrant of £8.41, which is really, really good. It's below $10, right? We then also have, or £10 should I say, we then also have a screenshot from one of our 3-day challenges where we generated 1,337 and we have a cost per registrant of £16, right? So pretty much double this amount. Now, I'm not really fussed about that because I would rather spend £16 to acquire a registrant or a lead and that person be someone who we actually want to work with, someone who fits our ICP, someone who is actually going to enroll into the program and do a great job, than someone who's just a brokey, not a good fit, and then we're getting half the cost per registrant or we're getting half the cost per lead. So it's a case where it's like, even if like you're more on the higher end, don't shit yourself. Like look at it from a positive angle and think to yourself that, look, if we are spending more to acquire a registrant or spending more to acquire a lead, if you're getting better quality come through, you'd rather that. A lot of people fixate on things like, oh, we want to get the lowest this, we want to get the lowest that. It's like, at the same time, there's swings and roundabouts. All because it's cheap doesn't mean that it's good quality. So that's just one thing to take into consideration. Now, let me walk you guys through the campaign structure that we use here and the promo guidelines. So the campaign structure looks like this. Campaign setup is an ABO campaign with 5 to 6 ads in one ad set. Put it on lifetime budget, just let it optimize, let it do its thing. Targeting, put it on broad with suggestions to your niche. So for example, in property, we have property investing, property, real estate, we have invest in itself, we have property development, anything to do with like that niche, just throw it in there. The webinar promo window for the webinars that we run is normally around 6 to 7 days. And the reason why we do that is because we want to keep that window nice and tight so that people have the curiosity, they have the excitement, and yeah, it's not too far away before they can attend the webinar, let's just say. The challenge promo window is slightly different because they're going to be attending for 3 days or 5 days, whatever the challenge is that you're doing. You want to give people enough time to sort of like block out that time for them to attend these 3 days. So we put it to a 14-day window just to give people enough time to sort of sort out their diary, sort out their life before they start registering or even paying to attend one of our challenges. Now, the types of creatives that you want to run is static image ads, video ads, B-rolls, pretty much everything underneath the sun. You want to test everything. Don't just say that, oh, I'm going to run it up with video ads, because the video ads may not perform as well as the image ads. So you just don't know. And it's just a case where it's just like, if you don't test, you're not going to know. And if you don't know, then you're not going to be able to win. Now, I also wanted to into like lead scoring and qualifying prospects. So this is like a little bit of a bonus, and I'm going to dive into, you know, some of the processes that we have on the back end, because I've spoken about a lot of the front end stuff. So lead scoring and qualifying prospects. So this is like our application grading system. So let's just say that you set it up into 3 categories. So we've got C1, C2, C3. Now C1 prospects or C1 applicants are the people who are at the bottom of the barrel. Based on what they filled out on the application, they're not really a good fit on paper for what it is that you're offering. So you want to put them in the C1 category. C2 are people that are qualified. Yeah, they're decent. You know what? Like, they seem like they'll be a good fit for what we do, but they're not the best of the people that have come through. Then we have the C3s, who is like the cream of the crop, the creme de la creme, right? These are the people that you really want to be speaking to first because they've got money, they're financially ready, and they have the intent there, right? So what you want to do is you want to redirect all the C1s to a landing page that says to them that, look, our team's going to reach out within the next 24 to 48 hours, and they don't get a chance to book a call yet, because I would say 60% of the people that apply are not going to be a fit for what it is that you do. That's just the way the game works, right? So because there's around 60% of those people that are not really who you want to speak with to begin with, and they're not really the ideal fit, we don't want to give them the opportunity to book onto the closers' calendars, because they're going to fill up the calendars and then there's going to be no space for the C2s and C3s to write after the webinar or the challenge. So then what that then does is that they then book like a week later, and everybody knows that you want to get them whilst they're hot. So the longer you leave it, the colder they're getting. So you want to get them on the calendar first. So by doing that, you give the C2s and C3s priority, and then the C1s get triaged by the setters so that they will then be triaged one step further to know whether they are actually brokies or they just put like a bunch of crap on the application because they just wanted to BS, right? But that's absolutely fine, because then we're actually saving calendar space for the people who are serious, and we're giving the closers the best quality of calls to begin with. Now, another way that you need to look at it is that if you're just sending people to book a call right after the webinar and challenge, then anybody can book a call, and then you're filling your sales reps' calendars with shit. So what happens is that the closers start to get frustrated. They start to get annoyed that they're speaking with people that are not really the right fit for what it is that you do. And then their efficiency drops. And once their efficiency drops, they're going to get frustrated on the calls that they should be closing and the people that should be enrolling into your program or should be enrolling into your offer. So that's what we sort of do when it comes to the back end side of things. Now, also, there's so many things that I could sort of walk you guys through, but the main objective of this video was basically just to walk you guys through how we took this client from doing 30, 40K months, generating 1.2 million in cash collected in 5 months. So that's basically what I wanted to break down. And there's going to be many videos where I can go one step further and dive into, you know, the real process that we use to get above 30% show rate on webinars. How do we get people to watch, let's say 80 to 85% on the live workshops that we do? How do we get above 30% close rate? All of these things, I'm going to be creating videos on them in the near future. Now, if you're a coach, consultant, or course creator and you're selling an offer that's $3,000 or more and you're looking to scale, there will be a link in the description for you to apply to work with us and see if there's a partnership opportunity there. But with that being said, I wanted to walk you guys through the full breakdown, because when it comes to scaling an offer to multiple 6 figures a month, there's a lot of things that go into it. So that's pretty much everything for this video, guys. I'll see you in the next one. If you have any questions at all and you want to hit me up, there will be a link to my IG handle in the description as well. You can drop me a DM, ask me questions. I'm happy to answer them. That's not a problem at all. And I will see you guys in the next one.